السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله.
إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون يا أيها الناس اتقوا ربكم الذي خلقكم من نفس واحدة وخلق منها زوجها وبث منهما رجالا كثيرا ونساء واتقوا الله الذي تساءلون به والأرحام إن الله كان عليكم رقيبا يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وقولوا قولا سديدا يصلح لكم أعمالكم ويغفر لكم ذنوبكم ومن يطع الله ورسوله فقد فاز فوزا عظيما. So inshallah today, I will be talking about what we should be doing to prep for Ramadan. And I'm sure this is something that you guys have been hearing for the last month or so. But Allah tells us in the Quran, وَذَكِّرْ فَإِنَّ الذِّكْرَ تَنْفَعُ الْمُؤْمِنِينَ. And remind, because reminder is beneficial for the believer. So who am I to go against that? And that's exactly what we're going to do. We're going to discuss once again what are the things that we can do to make sure this Ramadan is as fruitful for us as possible. And the first thing that we have to understand is that we have to treat Ramadan like any other endeavor. And we have to go in with a set plan. We can't just go in hoping for the best and that we'll figure it out as we go, because these moments, these fleeting days are extremely valuable. And we don't want to waste a second of it. So what does that mean to have a plan for Ramadan? First and foremost, we have to understand that the blessings that this month holds. That we have heard all the narrations and the virtues of it, of how much we are rewarded, how everything is multiplied by 70 times, and that shaitan is locked up so that we are less inclined to go against what Allah tells us and more inclined to do good deeds. That being said, we are going to be at a spiritual high during this month as well. So we have to make sure that we utilize it, that we set goals that we want to do this Ramadan. And we want to set goals that are practical and realistic, but still ambitious. And push ourselves and make sure that we get more out of this Ramadan than we did the last Ramadan. Because if we come out of Ramadan the same person that we were before Ramadan, then it would have been a failure. We gained nothing from it. And we wasted such a beautiful opportunity that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives us every single year. And now, ultimately, the goal of Ramadan and our lives in general is to get closer and closer to Allah than we were the moment before. So how can we do that during this Ramadan? We have to rekindle our relationship with our Creator during this month. Allah tells us شهر رمضان الذي أنزل فيه القرآن هدى للناس وبينات من الهدى والفرقان. The month of Ramadan is the one in which the Quran was revealed as a guidance for mankind and as clear proofs of truth and criteria. This month is the month of the Quran. And if we haven't been touching it for most of the year, and we haven't been reading it and it's collected dust on our shelves, we have to change that during this month. And we have to set aside a time every single day that we're going to interact with the Quran. Whether that be reading it, whether that be looking up the translations or looking up at tafsir and understanding more and taking out more of what we can learn from it. Whatever our plan is, we have to make sure that it is consistent. Because we also know that Allah loves the consistent deed. Allah loves a deed that is consistent rather than one deed in a blue moon that's really big. And that's also what we want to take away from this month. It's a month long. And if we start at the beginning, we can build a habit that'll last us well beyond that month. But if we procrastinate and wait for the last 10 days, we'll have that big burst, and then when we finish Ramadan, we'll go right back to where we were. So what we need to do would be interact with the Quran. We have to make sure that we set a time every day that we will read, and that set a goal of how much we want to accomplish daily, weekly, and for the entire month. Is there a goal to even read a single ayah? That's better than not doing anything. And if we want to finish multiple Qurans during this month, we have to set goals for that as well. So making sure that before the month has started, we set these goals and we execute them, it'll make it a lot better for us and we will get a lot more out of it. Secondly, we have to look at the type of people we are during this month. If we are praying non-stop, but we are not pleasant to the creation of Allah, then what is it all for? We have to develop our character during this month. And reflect on ourselves. Take time to reflect on ourselves and see, how do we interact with other people? What are our relationships with other people? And also set goals of character development and spirituality. And one way we can do that is getting to know our beloved Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam during this month. Understanding his character. Understanding how he treated those around him and what he did during this month. And taking a couple of his practices and making them things that we can carry on well past the month and for the rest of our lives. So incorporating that is a big part of this month. In addition to our private worship with our Creator, we also have to make sure that we are bettering the relationship with His creation as well. And one more thing that we need to focus on during this month is the remembrance of Allah, is our dhikr. And that will be through all these different actions, but also the very simple concept of saying Subhanallah, Walhamdulillah, Wa la ilaha illallah, Wallahu Akbar. And wetting our tongue with the dhikr. Because every second is so blessed. And every second we spend in dhikr, we are having a multitude of reward that we cannot even understand. And that will also help us strengthen our relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And in addition to that, this month is a month of forgiveness as well. And that is one of the most beautiful things about this month, that there's a hadith where Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam tells us that any person who fasts just one day with a pure intent and with the hope of receiving reward from Allah, Allah will separate the distance between their face and the hellfire by that of 70 years. And that's just for one day of a sincere fast. Allah tells us that all the good deeds that we do are for ourselves, but fasting during the month of Ramadan, that is for Him. So I've talked about some goals about getting closer to Allah, but how are we going to actually make sure that we execute what the month is all about correctly, the fast? If we come out of it the same way that we came into it, all we will achieve from this month is being hungrier and having sore feet from standing up and praying at night. So how are we acting during the fast? Yes, we cannot eat or drink, but we have to make sure that we are also disciplining ourselves from other things as well. Staying away from vile talk and other vile actions. Because this is all about disciplining ourselves. Because if we're staying away from that which is normally halal, we have to make sure that we can stay away from that which is haram. And being cognizant that we don't ruin our fast by getting angry or starting arguments with people or abusing the other creation of Allah. And that's what is so big about bettering our relationships with other people and increasing our character, because that will also reflect on how our fast goes. So during this month, we have to make sure that we develop a relationship with the Quran, that we remember Allah, that we improve our character to make sure that our fast is as beautiful as possible, and that we make sure that we consistently ask for forgiveness from Allah, and we constantly repent and make tawbah for the sins that we have committed during our entire lives, because this is the time we'll have our spiritual high, and we want to push it after Ramadan as well. أقول قولي هذا واستغفر الله ولكم. Invoke your Lord for forgiveness. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين. There is a narration that's narrated by Talha ibn Ubaidullah. And this is a very famous story about how he knew two Sahabi who were accepted Islam on the same day, and they had very similar deeds. So one was not a better worshipper than the other. They were very similar in all regards. And one of them died as a shaheed, as a martyr in the path of Allah. And the other one died a year later because of natural causes. And now, Talha ibn Ubaidullah radiallahu anhu, he saw in a dream where he is at the gates of paradise, and he sees that the one who died after the other one, so one was a shaheed, a martyr, and one died a year later because of natural causes, the second one was in a much higher level of paradise than the first one. And he was absolutely shocked, because he knew how much the status of a martyr in Islam is. That the moment that their blood reaches the ground, all of their sins are forgiven from Allah. And they can see their seat in Jannah. And they are protected from they're protected from the punishment of the grave. And they're protected from even being near the hellfire. And that they will have a crown of pearls, which are illuminated. And that each one is more valuable than the earth and everything in it. So he knew all these virtues of someone who is martyred in Islam and the status that they have. So he went to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam and he asked, how is it possible that the one who is not a martyr is in such a much higher plane than the one who is, when there were such similar people? And he tells him that he had an extra year to worship his Lord, an extra year to ask for forgiveness, an extra year to pray, and most importantly, an extra Ramadan. He had an extra Ramadan than the one who was martyred and had a much higher rank than him in Jannah. Brothers and sisters, this goes to show how valuable this month is. And if we utilize it correctly, then indeed Allah will also give us a rank multitudes higher than we can even imagine. So we have to make sure that we go in with a plan and that we utilize this month to the best. And that we make sure that it's consistent deeds, so that we don't get burnt out early, and that we can develop these habits. I pray that Allah makes us amongst the ones who can utilize this month to the fullest, and that grow in extreme closeness to Him during this month. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما صليت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. اللهم بارك على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما باركت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار ربنا هب لنا من أزواجنا وذرياتنا قرة أعين واجعلنا للمتقين إماما ربنا وآتنا ما وعدتنا على رسلك ولا تخزنا يوم القيامة إنك لا تخلف الميعاد اللهم إني أعوذ بك من الهم والحزن وأعوذ بك من العجل والكسل وأعوذ بك من الجبن والبخل وغلبة الدين وقهر الرجال اللهم إنك عفو تحب العفو فاعف عنا اللهم إنك عفو تحب العفو فاعف عنا اللهم إنك عفو تحب العفو فاعف عنا سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين إقام الصلاة. I also want to remind you to please make sure that you donate on your way out, as that is also one of the best virtues of Ramadan, that we give in sadaqah. I didn't have time to discuss it, but please make sure to do so. Jazakallah khair.
الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمد رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح قد قامت الصلاة قد قامت الصلاة الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله
الله أكبر الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين إن الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات كانت لهم جنات الفردوس نزلا خالدين فيها لا يبغون عنها حولا قل لو كان البحر مدادا لكلمات ربي لنفد البحر قبل أن تنفد كلمات ربي ولو جئنا بمثله مددا قل إنما أنا بشر مثلكم يوحى إلي أنما إلهكم إله واحد فمن كان يرجو لقاء ربه فليعمل عملا صالحا ولا يشرك بعبادة ربه أحدا الله أكبر سمع الله لمن حمده الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين قد أفلح من تزكى وذكر اسم ربه فصلى بل تؤثرون الحياة الدنيا والآخرة خير وأبقى إن هذا لفي الصحف الأولى صحف إبراهيم وموسى. الله أكبر. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله.
Assalamu alaikum. Just quickly, inshallah, I just want to remind you that there is a Ramadan prep and bonfire tonight at 6:30 here at ICGC on the soccer field. And then there will be a question and answer session with Imam Musa tonight at 8:30 after Maghrib here in person as well as via Zoom and YouTube. Please join us for the Qiyam with Sheikh Mahmoud this Sunday morning before Fajr, inshallah. So this Sunday morning before Fajr there is Qiyam before the Fajr Adhan. And then the latest halaqah for this Ramadan will be on Sundays and Tuesdays from 3 to 4. Please refer to the newsletter for a link to join the latest halaqah. The ICGC online education team is inviting you to a scheduled Zoom session with Mufti Kamani on Friday the 9th, April 9th at 8:15. To access the Zoom link, please go to the newsletter or go to the website and click on activities and then click on the link that's there. As always, thank you for being a support ICGC. Please do continue to support your center. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to reward you multiple times indefinitely for being a support ICGC. And I sent an email this morning about the Ramadan plans. If you received newsletters, you received the email. Please check it out. If you don't receive it, go to the website at icgc.us and click on the Ramadan to see the details for Ramadan plans, inshallah. Jazakumullahu khairan. Assalamu alaikum.